You are the greatest advocate I talk to on a regular basis about the Canadian Football League. Where's the Canadian Football League going? What's going on?
It's not going anywhere, unfortunately. It's kind of like a canoe paddling with one person. So it kind of goes in circles and continues in circles. And it's probably the franchises are as stable in terms of ownership as they've ever been. Economically, you have your bad markets and your good markets, like you always have. Edmonton's about to be sold or has already been sold, depending on who you talk to from private to public.
The other way around.
Public
community to private. Yeah.
It's going to have an owner for the first time ever, which really they need, because that's the great football market that's really fallen on hard times, and the team, which has played actually quite well this season, is the greatest 0-4 team I've ever seen. They're fully capable of losing by 3 points on any weekend, and they did that just last night. But it's not progressing in any meaningful way and not regressing in any meaningful way, and it has its TV numbers, so it's a good TV product. And unfortunately, I don't know how the CFL can grow or where it can grow. And I'm not sure it can shrink a whole lot more either. So it's kind of, I used to refer to it as existential football. It exists, but it does not thrive. And every time, I'm tired of hearing Randy Ambrosie talk about expansion. And I'm tired of his plan to go into Europe, and his plan. None of that's happening. There's no expansion. There's no Europe. There's no any of this stuff. It's the 9 teams that we've sort of historically found, and the struggle isn't in the big markets: Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver.
Mm-hmm. Bob, has your interest waned in the CFL?
Oh yeah, a lot. I mean, my issue has always been the same. Why does the CFL think it has to be different? Why does it have to be 3 downs? In America, the biggest sporting event is an NFL game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't the CFL adopt NFL rules?
From my perspective, I'll tell you why. The last 3 minutes of a CFL game are the best 3 minutes in sports to watch.
Really?
Yeah, I believe that. And I think if more people watch, they'd actually see that. You can never go into late in a game without a lead beyond 10 points, and be assured of winning.
Steve, we're not talking about rules. We're talking about acceptance on the part of the public.
Okay, well,
the product.
That
product is not accepted in Canada.
If you go to what you're talking about, which is basically a farm league with 4 downs and the NFL rules,
that's what they are now.
What you're telling people in Toronto, for example, which they already know because they don't go, is that this is an inferior product. Therefore, treat it as a minor league sport, and they've already done that in Toronto. So the changing of the rules will not change anything in a place.
I
like
got
Toronto.
news for you. They have accepted that everywhere in the CFL. You'd have to be an idiot to think any CFL team is comparable to an NFL team.
It's not comparable, but there's a fun element of football to the CFL that I believe, and I'm not saying this as a fan as much as someone who's covered it. I find the product and the people, and in today's world of sport, where a Raptor just signed for $35 million a year, which is, I think, would pay how many CFL teams? 6?
7, I think.
None of that matters, though, Steve.
No,
we're talking about a completely different thing.
I'm saying the economics of basketball and baseball and hockey and the NFL have changed dramatically, where the economics of the CFL essentially remain the same. And so the players play in the game because they love to play the game. They're not making a living doing it. They're not getting rich doing it. They're just playing. They're hanging on. I guess
you don't want
about that.
You don't want the CFL to improve then.
Oh, I would love to see it improve. I just don't know.
Well, how are you going to do it then?
I don't know if your model.
Tell me how.
Good. I don't know. If I did, I would.
I just told you how.
I don't think that works. To be honest,
I know you don't.
I don't think it works in Regina. I don't think it works in Winnipeg. I don't think that works in Edmonton.
Yeah, the fascination is that you talk about Toronto not working. All you have to do is drive 45 miles and see it work.
Yeah, and that's a community setup, good stadium, good ownership, fun kind of, and a bad football team. Toronto's got a good football team, and they had 10,000 last week. The Tiger Cats, aren't very good, and
so you don't think the CFL should change anything?
I think
just
they should change lots of things, mediocre. But I don't think going to 4 downs and NFL rules.
What do you think then? How would you change it?
I think you have to go market by market.
You have no answer, Steve. You have no answer to that question.
I do. Let me explain.
No, you don't.
You have to go to each market and what is the problem in that market and how do you fix the problem in that market? And I'll start with Toronto. You walk to an Argo game, guess what? The fans in the stands are older than the 3 of us.
Yes.
So what changes would you make? Don't give me stories about your experiences.
They're also the same color as the 3 of us.
Tell me how you would fix that.
Okay, take a ride on a Toronto subway.
Don't give me a story again. Tell me how you would fix it.
Well, first of all, you got to get people in the stands. So you have to be creative in how you market that. And whether that's reducing the price of refreshments and concessions, you have to, again, I think you can't make the league bigger.
Steve.
What?
That's economics.